Hi everyone, welcome out to the Dice Tower. My name is Chris Yee, and today I'm going to be going over my most played games of 2022, my top 10 most played games, as well as some other statistics. I figured that this would be interesting. I made a goal for the year 2022 to try to track all of my plays, and I failed. I didn't track every single one of them, but I did get a good amount of my data put in. I'm using the BG Stats app, Board Game Stats. I thought this would be something interesting and different to try. I've never been one that I wanted to log all my plays and track them anywhere, but because I have a unique position here at being able to be a part of the Dice Tower, I thought, what is that actually like? So let me show you a little bit about the stats and stuff that I figured out from this, and show you some interesting information about how huge of a nerd I am, and then also be going over my top 10 games. So I'm going to pull up a little screen here. I'm going to be showing you my app here with the Board Game Stats, BG Stats, and then let's get started. So what you're seeing here is my phone screen. I pulled up the app and I've got it on the Insights panel over here. If you're not familiar with the app, there are different things that you can showcase here. You can show off the general overview, the Insights challenges. Some of this stuff, the app costs a little bit of money and then you can get extra stuff. I'm not going into the deep dive stats because I also didn't keep deep dive information on all of my plays. But you can see all of the plays tracked here in reverse chronological order. You can see a list of all the games that I've played over the of all time, basically. But I'm going to be going to the Insights tab here. And the Insights tab is going to give me a summary of all of the information. I have 750 logged plays of games from the year 2022. And that means I bothered to track and actually input all of those. Some of them are wrong. I played a game with my daughter for probably the 6th time this year, and I thought, oh, okay, well, I'll track, like, this is like play number 6, and I realized I didn't actually put any of them in there. So some of them are kids games, some of them are big campaign games, and I might not have put every single play of all of the campaigns in there, but to the best of my ability, I try to log pretty much everything that I played. I think I missed one of the conventions, but that being said, you're going to be getting a pretty good look into the inner workings of the brain of one Christopher Yee. You can see across the top here, 750 plays, 50 players. Well, that's inaccurate because I didn't track everyone. I have 6 categories of players by name in here called Other. Other 1, Other 2, Other 3. I realized later there's an anonymous player function, which I messed up on, but I just carried through with what I was doing. H index is 8. What that means is there are 8 different games that I've played at least 8 times. So people who do a 10 by 10 challenge, I've never done something like that myself, but if you do one of those, your H index would be 10. 10 games you played 10 times. Unique games, 379 unique games I played in 2022, 750 total plays. You can see the breakdown, the distribution of the months that I played them, and July was my lowest month by far, a mix of running Dice Tower East. It was the first year that we ran Dice Tower East internally, and so that took a lot of effort before, during, and then after even. And I didn't play a ton of games at that convention. I just kind of did a lot of floating around, making sure things were good, teaching games, but being able to go take care of stuff. There's a lot of learning how to, completely handle that convention on our own. So I did a lot of work there. You see my most played months were May, August, and September. Probably less travel to big conventions like Gen Con and Essen, and having the retreat where you could play just games non-stop in September. So you can actually see a breakdown if you click month by month. It's showing you the time period, and we were looking at a year summary, and so now we're looking at the monthly summary. So the month of July, I had over a week. The 9th through the 17th, I didn't play a single game. I was also super sick that week, and so, that, like I said, July is definitely the smallest month, what Tom Vasel would call an outlier. But looking back here at the yearly view, you see that, plenty of games. I also appreciate that it shows who you've played with, so scrolling down there, you can see that 373 games I played with Wendy. It's not surprising, she's my main gaming partner, but still, half of the games I played last year were not with Wendy. Went to meetups at the game store, conventions. Most of the time at conventions, Wendy and I don't even play games together. You can see that our daughter, I have 152 games played with her. Also not surprising, we review a lot of kids' games. And then Mike, that's interesting. Mike with 83, Z with 82. I told you this other category, other people I played with. So that's just kind of a nebulous fake category. That just means people I didn't want to track because they're not part of my regular gaming rotation. And then Camilla with 75 plays, and then you can click on that and it'll give you a fuller breakdown. You can see Tom is a little bit behind there, Roy next, and then several other people. Alex Marks with 22 plays. Fascinating. Player count-wise, clicking on that, you can see the breakdown, the distribution. So 36%, my highest category are two-player games. Probably most of them with Wendy. Three-player games, at 31% of my plays. This is a mix of the family, Wendy, our daughter, and me playing together. But then also conventions, game meetups and stuff, four-player, then solo. Last year was probably my most soloed year. I play solo games, but last year there were definitely some that I thought, well, I want to go through this campaign. I don't want to burden Wendy with playing all of this and stuff. So I played a lot of stuff solo actually last year, probably more than usual. 10% of all my plays last year were solo games, but also I think a bunch of great solo games came out. All right. Days of the week, I don't know, is this interesting? Monday is my least, with 9%, but, fairly even there. 100% of my games took place at a location. That's good to know. So I'm going to scroll down. They're going to show you a summary view. If you came for literally just the top 10 part of this discussion here, then you're going to actually see the whole list, but I'm going to go through and discuss the games anyway. Why not? So scrolling down, you can see all of these games that I've played at least 6 times. It'll list all of the games in numerical order. There's several ones, unsurprisingly, but these are the ones that I played the most, the ones that I kept coming back to. So let's start with number 10. I'm going to actually click through these and just have the image of the game pop up. Splendor Duel. Splendor Duel, two-player game. Two-player version of Splendor. Add some new mechanisms in there. Has that privilege mechanism that lets you grab extra chips in there. There's fun ways where you're trying to outplay and outthink your opponent, and yet it is just it's so smooth and so clean, a little bit mean, but like in a way that you just, I don't know, I keep having fun, I keep wanting to come back to. So Splendor Duel, my number 10 most played game of last year. Well, tied, of course, here with, well, this is one of those that I think is wrong, actually. Allegedly my number 9, or tied for 10, Jurassic Park, The Legacy of Isla Nublar. This is the one from Prospero Hall Games. I think this is one I didn't track every single play. It's possible that the 7 is not quite right because the whole campaign is 10 games, if I remember correctly. So some imperfections, of course, are going to pop up. You'll see another one, actually, that I played 6 times with Stars of Icarios, a Gloomhaven-esque big old campaign. So, not all this is perfect. Jurassic Park Legacy of Isla Nublar, I didn't love it. I didn't love it, but we pushed through. We played so much of it, kept hoping for it to get better. But you know what? There's a miss sometimes. But Prospero Hall, overall, a company that I'm looking forward to trying out more of their stuff. So still a good company that I really am looking forward to more of their games. Let's go over to number 8. This is a tie for 6 through 8 with 9 plays. Vegetable Stock. This is a teeny little card game here from Taiwan Board Game Design, and a company called Good Game. It made my top 10 of the year. I really, really liked it. So this one is it's just a little bit of a drafting game, sort of open draft in the middle. The card that you leave will move up the prices of leftover vegetables. And then eventually, if the vegetable value goes too high, it'll crash down. And at the end of the game, the cards that you collected, you multiply times the value of the vegetables. Highly recommend. So much fun. Also with 9 plays, Turing Machine. Turing Machine here is it's a fantastic math deduction game. The type of deduction that I really enjoy, not the type that Mike really enjoys, and that's fair because you might also hate this type of mathy solving logic type stuff, but I really enjoy Turing Machine. I played this one a lot solo, actually, because I think it works really well as a solo game. You can see some of the stats here, with whom I've played it and stuff. So actually, majority of my plays were by myself, but plenty of times I also played at conventions and stuff. Yeah, 9 plays is a lot for me to keep pulling something out. Also tied up here, number 6 through 8, like I said, Arkham Horror, the card game. Arkham Horror, the living card game is, we played a campaign with Z and Camilla, and then we played a little bit extra. We did a live play, which got pranked a little bit. Super worth watching that prank. Roy and Tom really did a good job pulling a fast one on us. But anyway, Arkham Horror, the card game, fantastic. I've played it for the first time this last year. I really love it. I'm debating picking up my own copy so I can have my own box to mess with and manipulate and stuff and introduce to Wendy, because she and I loved playing Elder Tor back in the day. Mansions of Madness, Elder Sign. I love a lot of the games in this series, and I think that this is one of the most well-made ones. Arkham Horror, the card game. Not surprised that I played it 9 times. Let's go to 10 times here now. Tied for 4th and 5th place. Marvel United. I tracked all of Marvel United as Marvel United X-Men, so this is both X-Men and the original one. Started introducing my daughter to the X-Men animated series from the 90s, and so that made this one very fun for her to play. Oh, there's Jean Grey, oh, there's Storm, oh, there's Cyclops, right? So cool. A lot of fun. Not one of my favorite cooperative games. I don't think it would make my top 10. It hasn't made my top 100 games of the year or anything like that, but this is such a solid, good, family weight game that I really enjoy playing because of its simplicity and I have a lot of fun with. Plus, mixing in new villains and different characters. Marvel United's great. Also 10 times played. Another game I played with our daughter, another big campaign game, Adventure Tactics. Adventure Tactics is so fun. It is the idea of Final Fantasy Tactics, going through a tactical boss battler type game, level by level. Every scenario you're leveling up, and so you can have 3 levels of fighter and 2 levels of archer and 1 level of rogue, and then you can kind of morph those classes together and become a beast hunter, upgraded class. It's so cool. So I played this one, 10 games of it, one whole campaign as a family, and I really enjoy Adventure Tactics. My third most played game, one of the oldest games that got us, Wendy and I, into the hobby, Dominion. I'm happy that we still played 11 games of Dominion. Dominion being, not just the basic game, but of course all the expansions and stuff in there. It helps that several great second editions of expansions came out. The new Plunder expansion came out in 22. And just pulling out our little crate of it, our chest of it, and saying, let's play this a few times. I really, really love this one. So most of my plays at 2-player, but hey, my brother, Frank, actually made the list here. Played it with him, played it with Wendy and Tom several times. I really love Dominion. I'm glad I still play it as much as I do. Going to my number 2, my most played solo game of the year, Caesar. Seize Rome in 20 minutes. This is a game from Paulo Mori, the follow-up to Blitzkrieg. What a great, great game this is. It's just, it's so soloable. The logic flow, the decision tree that you have to follow for the computer player is not too hard. It's exploitable by you, the player, but there's still tension because there's a little bit of randomness in how many turns, exactly how they're going to take their turns, the AI opponent. And I think that it's really good. So you can see that, I played this mostly solo, but a little bit 2 players. And then lastly, my most played game of the year per my BG Stats app, Micro Macro Crime City. This is both the first one and the second one, the Full House. Been playing that with our daughter. She's fine with the cartoon gruesomeness. It's fine. There's murder. I appreciate that they rank the cases for very family friendly, the middle level, and then it has more adult themes. So we don't play the adult themed ones with her. We just play those first 2 levels, and that's great. She laughs and giggles at the whole thing, and yeah, it's a little bit horrific here and there, but it's really fun. It's cartoony. I grew up watching Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny shooting each other with guns and blowing each other up. So this is kind of where I consider that humor level. I really enjoy this one. My favorite crime investigation type of game out there, and it's mostly just Where's Waldo. Really like this one. Played this one, I think, almost exclusively 3-player. Yeah, 3-player with Wendy, my daughter, and myself. So there you go. Per BG Stats, my most played games of 2022, and then some other little information here and there. I could also pull up stats on Board Game Arena. I've played digitally games a lot. I played 46 games of Next Station London, the little flip and write game, if you include my digital plays as well. And then I played 75 games of Can't Stop on there. So those would actually be my 2 most played games, but physically that I tracked in the app, hoping that this is as best as possible. There you go, my top 10 most played games of 2022. Do you enjoy using any stats trackers and stuff like this? Do you keep stats on your games? If so, what interesting insights have you figured out? And what were your most popular games that you played last year? Until next time, thanks for coming by another boring statistics and top 10 list here from me, Chris Yee at the Dice Tower. Have fun gaming.